Are you ever playing Diablo 4 and you just lose your character in all the carnage, leading to deaths that you can't really explain? Well, that happens to me plenty of times, and in this video, I'm going to talk about plenty of different options within the game that can help you better keep track of your character and reduce the chaos that's happening on screen. With that, let's jump right in. First off, a large aspect of the visual clutter that you see when you're clearing plenty of enemies, particularly in pits, is the combat text. Personally, I do love seeing these numbers just so I can know how much damage I'm doing when I'm tweaking my builds, etc. But let's be real, it does take up a lot of visual real estate. Turning this off will immediately help declutter what you're seeing on screen so you could see a little bit more of the action. And speaking of action, by default, the screen does have a little bit of a shake when you use your abilities to give you more of that feeling of impact. But with everything else going on, having your screen shaking up and down doesn't necessarily help you keep track of the action. So turning this option off as well with the combat text can definitely clear up some of that visual real estate, as you can see from the before to the after. Now, we do have a steady screen that doesn't shake, and we don't have numbers flying everywhere so you can see your character. But now let's face it, Diablo does cater to that one-man army fantasy, and as such, you're going to see yourself cluttered with different monsters and still have trouble seeing your own character and differentiating with the other NPCs on the screen. So with this, we can do a couple things. One is you can actually place an additional highlight around your character so you can more distinctly stand out amidst the crowd. And you can set this to whichever color you would like, with many different customizational options for your preference. And this definitely helps out a bit more. On top of this, you can add additional highlights not only to your character, but to enemies as well as NPCs. Now in the pit, as you can see here, all of the monsters have a small red tint to them, and my mercenary has a blue one as well. This makes it a lot easier for me to quickly identify what's happening on screen. Now, another thing that could cause me lose track of my character in the combat is by constantly looking at my hotkeys as well as my health and resource bar. Well, within the options, you have the ability to enable and display your own health and resource right above your character head. So not only can you stay focused, but you have a clear visual indicator as to where your character is on screen at all time, making it even easier to know where you are. And next, if you want to reduce some of the different lighting effects that are happening either when you hit an enemy or just because of all the different spell effects, there are two other options you can turn off, and that is the combat hit flash and the reduced strobing. Now, having all of those off, this is what your original game looks like, and this is what it looks like now. Your screen is much less cluttered, and it's a lot easier for you to see what's going on. Given the nature of the game, you're always going to be surrounded by tons of monsters, so the problem isn't always going to be fully resolved, but again, that is the nature of the game. Now, other things that you can do sometimes when you're grouped with many party members, or there's a lot of different spell effects on the ground, let's say my Spiritborn's Mystic Circle or certain monster or boss effects, you can reduce this by going to your graphics options and selecting the low effects option. What this will do is it'll make these spell effects less distinct and also saving you a lot of performance as well. However, just know, although this will clear up the clutter if there's a lot of different spots on the ground, it also makes these effects a little bit more difficult to see. So it may not be the best option when it comes to staying alive. And lastly, I know my friends and other players, they can lose track of their cursor during combat, and it makes sense. It's pretty small and pretty plain in color. So inside your graphics tab, you have the ability to increase the size of the cursor and its color as well. So turning this on along with all the others, you can now see where your character is. You can easily differentiate between yourself, the monsters, as well as your mercenary or other NPCs, and you can keep track of your cursor at all times. As someone who likes pushing rifts and being surrounded by chaos, these options allow you to focus on the most important part of the game, and that's your character and the monsters surrounding you. So that's it for this video, guys. If you love Diablo lore and Diablo 4 tips, tricks, and guides, be sure to give me a follow. And also, if you have any additional questions, I do stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, so be sure to give me a follow on Twitch and hop on to ask any questions or participate in my community runs. Thank you all for watching. Consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to keep supporting the channel. Until next week.